You feel lost right now, but not like you took a wrong turn. More like the map you've been following just dissolved into nothingness. The landmarks you trusted are gone. The compass is spinning with confusion. You're standing in a void that's neither empty nor comforting. It's raw. It's unsettling. This is the exact moment most people quit. But here's the thing. That space you're in right now is the edge of transformation. The place where the old you is dissolving, and the new you hasn't quite arrived yet. And that unsettled feelings you're having are a signal. A flare shot into the fog saying, you're closer than you think. Most advice you've heard screams for clarity. Even I'm guilty of this. Every video I've made is telling you to desperately strive to achieve clarity in life. Set goals, make plans, hustle harder, but clarity isn't always the missing piece. What if clarity is actually the enemy at this stage? That's something nobody will tell you. Everyone's obsessed with finding purpose, but maybe purpose doesn't exist until you start moving. Maybe purpose is just momentum plus meaning plus memory. And right now, you're just lacking momentum. There is no one-size-fits-all method for finding clarity and purpose in life. There are formulas. But which formula is best suited for you? That's the question that we need to ask. It might not be good for you to seek out your purpose or try to find direction in life. Maybe you don't need clarity or motivation. Maybe what you need is movement. Clarity shows up after the ground beneath you shifts. Right now you're shaking loose of worn-out identities, worn-out ambitions, worn-out versions of yourself. This is the mutation phase. You could call it a reboot. This is the realignment that no one warns you about. I knew someone who built a six-figure business doing work they secretly hated just because it gave them certainty. But every morning they woke up with that silent ache, like life was happening on a delay. They finally shut it all down. No backup plan, no viral comeback, just silence. 6 months later they didn't just have a new vision, they had a new voice. Because sometimes clarity doesn't shout, it waits in the quiet you're avoiding. Think about a crab growing inside its shell. To get bigger, it has to shed that shell. In that moment it's vulnerable, soft, directionless, but necessary. You are that crab. This rawness is not failure, it's more like preparation. So as long as it's not dangerous or risky, radical movement might be what triggers your transformation into deeper meaning and clarity in life. So, how do you navigate when the map's gone and the compass is erratic? First, stop chasing your habits like they're lifeboats. Habits are anchors tied to old identities. You don't need more habits. You need identity upgrades. There's no point in constantly sulking with your head in your hands while asking yourself what you should do. Ask yourself, what version of me survives the storm? Then ask, how does that person think, act, decide? Most people try to behave their way into identity. But I'm telling you to flip that around. Decide who you are and behavior will follow. This identity-first mindset, it rewires your brain's navigation system. It stops autopilot and honestly, invites conscious design back into your life. That means finally feeling like you're in control again. Second, detox your dopamine. Not just from social media, but from other people's dreams. Algorithms feed you ambitions that aren't yours, disguising them as inspiration. This is going to help you so much when you realize that we all just pick up our phones and let them piss us off. Your phone is a valuable tool, but it can ruin your life if you become its slave. Check your Instagram watch time right now. What about Facebook? If you're using social media as a form of escape, that's really bad, man, and you deserve to take better care of yourself. Take 48 hours away from imported ambition. No podcasts, no highlight reels, no tips from billionaires. Why? Because honestly, most of your overwhelm isn't really confusion, it's just saturation. Your brain was never built to track 10 million life paths. Let your default settings resurface. Let silence show you what you actually want. This is the power of stripping the world out of your perception and only allowing yourself to exist in that space for a while. It helps when you reconnect with you and only care about what you want. Next, you have to obliterate your maybe list. I mean, really annihilate that thing. The ideas, plans, and dreams you've been half-heartedly considering, they're just noise. Replace them with a hell yes or no system. If something doesn't ignite a visceral fire inside you, it's a no. No more lukewarm compromises. If it doesn't haunt your thoughts, it doesn't belong on your plate. Cut every task, plan, or idea that doesn't hit your nervous system like a quiet hell yes. Doubt isn't always fear. Sometimes it's your intuition whispering to you that this isn't it. Alright, here's a scientific nugget for you. Andrew Huberman talks about the brain's plasticity and dopamine architecture. Morning sunlight exposure without screens literally recalibrates your reward system. It tells your brain this day is yours, before external noise hijacks it. Try it. Watch how your motivation subtly realigns. Feeling lost is the suffering part. Choosing to evolve through it is the meaning part. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your old programs are failing because they no longer serve you. This means the breakdown is the breakthrough. The feeling of being lost is the start of you finding out what your next phase of life will be. So now that you know that you were never lost, you're just rebooting. Sometimes a reboot is what you need, man, and all the errors are fixed after that. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But becoming requires destruction, not of your values, but of your survival patterns. The things that kept you safe when you were smaller will bury you if you try to carry them into the next chapter. Most people panic here because it feels like giving up the safety net. We clutch to old identities because we're scared to become soft, vulnerable, and unknown again, but not you. You're ready for that discomfort. You're ready to become raw, real, and relentless. It's with this mentality that you walk into the abyss that is your transformation and conquer what's there. So here's your framework, not for doing more but for becoming more. 1. Make identity-first decisions. Before any action, ask if the future you would stand behind it. Not your fleeting emotions, not the noise of fear or the desire for approval, but the version of you forged in the fire of resolute purpose. 2. Dopamine reset. 48 hours away from all success content. Let your brain reset to its default operating system. You. 3. The hell yes filter. Cut your options down to what sparks your gut, what haunts your dreams, what you'd fight for in silence. If this struck a chord, let me know in the comments your best advice for someone who feels lost, and make sure to subscribe. This is a channel for those after fearless transformation. Align yourself with that reality by getting these videos every time I post them. You can also get my book in the description. Most people drift through life with zero clarity. This book is filled with everything I used to escape feeling lost and hopeless. Remember, you're not falling apart. You're shedding the framework that held you safe but kept you small. The map is blank because you're creating new terrain, and when you finally walk that path, a revolution will start inside you. Share this with someone who's standing in their own fog. Trust me, they'll thank you for seeing the silent war they're fighting, and make sure to get the next piece of the puzzle by watching the video that's on the screen right now. See you in the next one.